into what the other countries were doing, and I looked into South Korea, and I found that they had treated their patients with hydroxychloroquine and zinc. I wasn't sure why, but that's what they were doing. And then there was a study that came out of France, Marseille, that they were using hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, but that was done in vitro in the test tube, not in patients. So I wanted to understand how this virus works. And it's actually the same as all viruses. A virus cannot grow on its own. It needs to get inside a person's cell, and then it hijacks the cell's machinery to reproduce. It's a real parasite, and in doing so, it kills the cell. So I started realizing that zinc is a mineral that's well known to be used when people have colds, and there's a reason behind it. It turns out that zinc inhibits a certain enzyme called replicase. It doesn't matter the technical term, but that enzyme is within the cell involved in making copies of the genetic material of the virus. In other words, it helps the virus reproduce. It helps the virus grow in number. And zinc plugs that up. It throws a monkey wrench. It makes the virus not replicate as fast or stops it completely. But the problem with zinc, that it's a positively charged mineral and it does not cross into the cell through the cell membrane easily or at all. It's difficult for the zinc to get to the place where it needs to be able to fight the virus. So it turns out, what does hydroxychloroquine do? We're using this word a lot, but it's not magic. There is a theory behind it, a concept, which is very elegant and very beautiful. All hydroxychloroquine does is it opens a channel within the cell membrane and allows for zinc to go from outside the cell to inside the cell. Once the zinc goes inside the cell, it begins to attack the virus by not allowing it to reproduce. I had 911 patients that were diagnosed. I treated with the regimen only 350 patients. The rest were low risk. They were sent home with supportive care, and they all got better. But the 350 patients, I intervened early, immediately in my office, giving this drug regimen to these patients. And let me share with you the outcomes as of today. I had 0 deaths. I had 3 patients admitted, intubated or on a respirator. Subsequently, 1 is off now, so only 2 are still on the respirator. And I had 6 patients admitted with bacterial pneumonia to receive IV antibiotics, and 2 of which already came home. Now, let's do some statistics. Depending on which country you look at, the mortality rate in the high-risk patients is between 5 and 10%. We're an advanced country, so let's take the lower number of 5%. So out of those 350 patients, we statistically should have seen 17 dead people and a multiple of that on respirators. What did I see? 0 dead people and only 3 people on the respirator. That was a significant discovery. And I'm not claiming to find a cure. I'd rather use an analogy. Imagine a frontline soldier happens to come across some very important intelligence. And this intelligence needs to be communicated to the top general because it's going to help win the war. And I saw the significance